and get the word out so that people know that we're live. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Bonnet Chronicles Part 2 of our year 2021 review. I want to start off by thanking everybody who's been supportive of this Bonnet Chronicles, everybody who's been following me on Twitter. I hope you have a happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, or even if you don't, and tomorrow's just going to be a chill day. I just want to thank you for making this all possible. Watch me on here or on YouTube. It is all appreciated. But I wanted to start off with this post from Kyle Griffin about how the insurrectionists, 240 of them, have been hit with the rare obstruction of official congressional proceedings charge. Treason is not a joke. And I know the big thing from a lot of the doom and gloomers, which I am going to talk about tonight, was, oh, stuff isn't being done. People are getting away with the January 6th thing. No, they're not. Our DOJ is doing their job. It is just not a TV show or a Law and Order episode, so you don't get to see every play-by-play until it happens. And you're not going to see Merrick Garland on Twitter because he's too busy doing his job. We have adults in the room now, and I know some of you can't handle it because you were used to the crazy train that we had last year and for the last 4 years before this previous administration. You're used to the reality TV view of life, and we need to get out of that. And I am going to talk more about what happened within this year, but I really want to address Democrats in whole, but especially white Democrats right now, because it is on you. I was thinking about this yesterday when taking my notes. And I know some of you are going to be like, oh, she's calling us out again. And, hey, Terry, welcome to the chat. I know it feels like I'm putting the spotlight on some of you, but there are way too many people peddling apathy, giving some of you an out. And I want to keep reminding you that we cannot afford for you to need to be motivated to do your bare minimum. We got work to do in 2022, and we need all hands on deck. And we don't need people who are just going to be like, well, I don't like that person. They don't speak to me in the way I need to be speak to. We need Democrats running stuff. And welcome to the chat, respect. Hey, Zai. Hey, dear. But seriously speaking, the whole reason why I highlighted Kyle's tweet there was because the main point that all the doom and gloomers, including people I used to respect, was saying was, oh, Merrick Garland isn't doing his job. Merrick Garland is am I missing in action? And no, he's actually doing his job. Because unlike the last administration, who every time you heard from them, somebody was being fired, I don't even think Jeff Sessions got to do much before he lost his job. And Bill Barr was quietly plotting to turn us into the next fascist state. And that failed, luckily, because they were back in the idiot. An idiot who had a really bad few days, who gave an interview to No Edge's Candace, which didn't win him any support from his supporters. You can't go downplaying a deadly virus, something that has ravished us for the last few years, as no big deal, a nothing burger, telling your people to inject bleach, them stupidly deciding to inject horse medicine, cattle dewormer actually, and then say, oh no, the vaccine is good, I was for them, because they're not going to believe you. You can't cater to that level of stupidity. Prop it up as if it makes sense and then try to tell it reasonable stuff. You allowed it to be that rampantly stupid, and you can't damage control it anymore. That's why 240 of those idiots are now facing obstruction of congressional proceedings on top of treason, on top of perhaps domestic terrorism charges. Several Proud Boys have been arrested, are facing serious jail time. But so many people want to act like nothing's being done. And this is what I am hopeful for in 2022. More of us open our eyes to the BS. Oh, yeah, Candace was ridiculous. I don't even understand why she has a platform. But the only reason why I saw her is because I was on YouTube and a person I watched, Deaf Noodles, showed the interview, and I was like, what the heck is this? Why? Why is she interviewing him? And he's saying all this stuff. And of course, all of his followers and people who supported him now feel betrayed because how dare he tell us to be safe? This is the level of fucking stupidity that we are up against, y'all. That's why I said, all I want from Democrats next year is for you to do your bare minimum because we cannot afford to allow these people to run stuff anymore. They are willing to die for a cause that doesn't even care about them. We have to be the ones to make this country better. We can't rely on the people who are filling up our hospitals still. Having actual people who need the hospitals for life-threatening stuff turned away because they refuse to do their due diligence and get the vaccine. One of the biggest arguments I've seen this year against the vaccine, which is pissing me off because it's like it doesn't even matter the level of education or wealth, as we've seen from Letitia Wright, who broke my heart this year. I was looking forward to Black Panther with her in the lead. And like many people who think that their money and their success cushion them from this non-preventable now disease, you can catch COVID fairly easily if you don't protect yourself. She seems to think that being anti-vax is more important than being in a lead role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it breaks my heart because the character that she played, that she beautifully portrayed in the movie, would have been on the front lines of developing such a vaccine. We are not in the 1950s where everything was a bit more experimental, took longer. We literally have the technology to make things faster. So if you're on the fence still, because I've already gotten 2 boosters, if you are on the fence still on what it means to protect yourself, I don't know what to tell you anymore. I would rather be safe. I am a writer, so I don't have to interact with the people. I do this. This is my interaction. This is social media. I can legit stay in. So I don't have to get boosters like most people who interact with the public, but I did it anyway because I believe in surviving. My kid is protected now. My boyfriend's protected now because it is the right thing to do, because you never know when you are going to be in a situation where you could be at risk. Several of our friends have had it. Some survived, some unfortunately didn't. I'm losing friends that I will never see again. We were only in our 40s. I shouldn't be burying fucking people who are only in their 40s. But that is the reality of COVID. So we can't play around with this, y'all. And way too many people that I thought had more brains are still on the I don't know fence. And especially they're rich. And it's like money just doesn't seem to make you smarter. And I think people need to get away from that. Because that's a big thing that's been ongoing within our party, too. People want to push class warfare as the main thing to focus on. Oh, if I had more money or if I paid less money for stuff, things would be better. 2021 has been full of that bullshit. And let me tell you something. Money doesn't always make better. Some of these fuckers flew private jets to storm our Capitol. And now we're going to do a prison sentence. That one ditzy broad, I think she was from Colorado or Texas, thought that going to jail means it's going to be like a spa. She thinks she's going to lose weight and get smoothies. Homegirl's got a big rude awakening. She is going to federal prison. Federal prison is not fun. Federal prison is what they threaten you when you work for a corporate bookkeeping company and they tell you as you get bonded, if you commit a crime, you will not be going to regular jail for such crimes. You will go to federal prison. It is not a joke. And homegirl thinks that it's going to be like a spa retreat. She's got another thing coming. It is a mess, y'all. And 2021, like I got through half of it last week, and it was just so many acts of gun violence that I just couldn't take it. And then in June of this year, we had a lot of states relaxing the mask mandates, relaxing, because we thought we have people that know what they're doing in charge. People are getting the vaccine. Maybe things can get back to normal. It's not going to get back to normal. And I'm not saying that because I don't want things to get back to normal. I'm saying that because we still have people who would rather inject cow dewormer and Buddha man, who they swore was their messiah, that orange turd bucket, for daring to tell them, no, get the vaccine, it's safe. So, like I said, it is their level of stupidity that is keeping us from being able to do the thing. I'm a nerd. I want to be able to go see Spider-Man. I'm not sitting in a movie theater. I'm not risking it. We watched The Matrix from home. I am not trying to get sick. I am autoimmune compromised. I cannot risk rolling the dice with something like this. And many states didn't even really respect it in the first place. Exactly. GOP states were the worst in this. I see some of the states that I used to personally live in, Florida, Georgia, awful with their COVID numbers. Florida, especially on the DeSantis. And because of that, even though we had rollbacks in June, by the winter, a lot of us are under state mask mandates are back. People are begging to get the boosters out to people. And they're thinking about a fourth stimulus, which would be nice. It would have been nice if it happened before Christmas, but we have to keep the economy flowing. But the problem I see with all of that is too many people want to make things about money. If they're not spamming my DMs with Bitcoin stuff, which is the latest get rich quick scheme, which I'm not going to bother with that. Unless I see it federally backed, don't bother me about your funny money. And I have been very, very adamant towards people who want me to push whatever weird coin. No, thank you. I worked in finance. I get that eventually we will move to a new form of currency, but I watched the market enough, and I've watched enough of this crypto stuff to know that the only way to currently get rich off crypto is to get a pump and dump scheme going. And for those of you who don't understand pump and dump, it is when a crypto coin or something like these new NFT bullshits are created, and you get enough buzz and you get enough hype where people invest in it. Then once it's got enough investors, you sell it to a dummy who thinks, I can make a lot of money from it. You pocket the funds, and they're left with something that if they can't pump it up and dump it, will probably net them a loss. It is not a sustainable profit thing. And way too many people are getting scammed. And Terry, don't feel bad. I wish I didn't know about Bitcoin. I wish they would stop trying to push it as a new thing. I know we are going to have to get into a system of currency that does more electronic transferring than actual physical paper money. I don't even really carry paper currency anymore. So I understand that everybody's pushing to be the one to come up with that new thing. But unless that currency is federally backed, don't invest in it. That is my warning to everybody who watches this in 2021. There are way too many people that will buzzword you into a trap. And I don't know about you, but I'm at the age where I am thinking about comfortably living for the rest of my life. I am not trying to lose out on a nice little quiet house towards some funny money that might make somebody overseas rich if they're lucky. Because like I said, every Bitcoin thing I've seen pushed by a celebrity especially, or one of these wannabe pseudo-celebrities here on Twitch or YouTube, it's all been for them to line their pockets, get a bunch of investors, and then leave y'all holding the bag. There is no officially federally recognized Bitcoin. And until that happens, y'all can leave me out of that. I'm not playing. I feel like, wow. NFTs are weird too, Terry. That's another big thing that went on for the last few years, but it's really been a big topic this year. And it's something to do with internet artwork, internet videos. Like, I could take a tweet right now of mine that went viral supposedly and call it an NFT and sell it. But I think that's dumb. Because A, anybody could take a screenshot of anything I put out there. B, I don't need to sell my work in that way. But there are a lot of people doing that. And then on top of that, there are a lot of people taking dead artists' work, which is why I stopped putting a lot of my sketching and stuff online. Because heaven forbid if something happens to me, I don't want my family to have to go through having to fight strangers for that stuff. But the reality is, situation is, it's going to be a mess. And there's going to be lawsuits because you can't just claim something online as yours if you didn't make it. And even then, if somebody legally buys it and calls it an NFT, it's just a mess. 2022 has got to be the year we start cleaning up all of this toxic bullshit. It is just ridiculous the way people are pushing for currency that may not even matter in the future. I'm hoping we get to a point where we get away from the constant need to have a paper or any kind of currency to prove our worth. We humans got to get away from that because it is the one thing that has kept us divided, warring with each other, and keeping us from our full potential as human beings. Oh, what's the cost of that? Why does it need such a cost? Why does it cost so much to educate people? Why does it cost so much to feed people? Oh, people put labor into that. And they're going to eat anyway. But oh, if I say that, she's a socialist. No, I'm a realist. We have all lived on this earth way too long to be doing this bullshit system. It's not working. It's not sustainable. Exactly, Zai. And all it does is keep people stepping on each other, trying to get theirs, instead of us growing as a species. So I would love to start seeing in 2022 us getting further and further away from the arguments about money and more about goals towards better social activities, gun control, because it needs to happen. Like I said, when I looked at this list of this year, the gun attacks over and over again. Workplaces shot up. Grocery stores shot up. You got idiots on my birthday this year. Greg Abbott, who, you know I don't like that motherfucker. That Texas dummy. Signed the open carry thing in Texas. Getting rid of the whole, oh, you don't have to be concealed. Every state that has lax gun issues tends to have a high percentage of people who just have a bad day and decide to go on a shooting spree. I'm hopeful that after what happened here in Michigan not 2 weeks ago, that the governor starts taking it seriously. Because when I wrote a letter earlier this month, one of the senators that I'm hoping gets primaried decided to tell me, well, I don't agree with your stance on us needing gun restriction laws. I wonder if he still feels that way. Probably does. GOP are idiots. He is not my direct senator, but he is a Michigan senator and one of the only ones who responded back to that letter. And it still pisses me off, and I'm gunning for his job. Because I just don't understand that. 4 children died 2 weeks ago. High school kids who had so much potential, so much future, is gone. 6, including a few teachers, are injured. And the parents were deemed flight risk. So their asses are sitting in jail, thank goodness. Kyle Rittenhouse's mama should be in jail. They were another big 2021 flub. But luckily, we did get justice. Kim Potter was convicted. Not on murder, she should have, but 2nd degree, I think, or I believe 3rd degree felony charges for the shooting of Durante Wright. On top of that, with Derek Chauvin's conviction this year, I can take a little comfort in the fact that police can't just murder us, even though they're still trying to. But it's not enough. because we still have little wannabe vigilantes who are now empowered by that little fuckboy. And I hate using that term, but I have to. After seeing, there's another video of him at some weird conservative convention, because they all just love him. He is their poster boy for angst. Coming in like he's a fucking celebrity. You murdered 2 people. How are you being treated like royalty when you've taken lives? That is why I said, while I don't fully subscribe to the Christian faith, I really hope that their beliefs are real. Because he ain't getting into no paradise if they are. You don't get in after murdering people. So I hope he enjoys all the freaking attention he is getting now from those wackadoo conservatives who are already offing themselves by not protecting themselves from COVID. Probably have fans amongst the 240 who are going to federal prison for their domestic assault on January 6th. I guarantee you that when he reaches that pinnacle of thinking he is at his most loved is when he's gonna fall. So I don't let what Kyle did bother me anymore. I had to let it go. I realized early on in my life that there are 2 Americas. I'm doing my damnedest to stop it from being 2 Americas. He needs to be the last motherfucker raised by Bible thumpers, not actual readers, with easy access to weapons to take lives willy-nilly. And we need legislators who can put stuff on the books that even judges like that fucking idiot who pretty much didn't even want to do his job during that rodeo show trial can't get around. Exactly. His fame is definitely going to be short-lived. I feel like instead of letting Kyle Rittenhouse anger me anymore, because it is what it is, and it's sad that he was allowed to take lives and get away with it. He was far from the only guy doing that. There were a lot of white men this year who decided to make 2021 the year of their angst. Oh, the governor told me what to do. I'm going to get my friends together and we're going to kidnap her. We had to deal with that shit in Michigan. And then we had a former, because he don't have his job no more, thank goodness, sheriff talking about, oh, I don't see what they did is wrong. Yeah, he don't need to have a job. When you side with the people who literally wanted to do something very illegal to an elected official, that's the kind of stupidity we are up against. And those are the kind of people we don't need leading law enforcement. But that is the kind of stuff that we as Democrats need to be on the lookout for. Because if we don't, heaven forbid if those people have really been organized and not used Facebook for their little let's kidnap the governor clique. Yeah, they fire him, he's gone. I don't know if he's still working in law enforcement. That's the shitty thing about law enforcement. He could lose his job in one parish and get another one. But I'm hopeful that he's persona non grata, as we call it in New York. I am hoping that nobody will want to touch him after that, because the comment was ridiculous. But that is the kind of Yahoo nonsense we have going on in our state. That's why I've been staying politically active. It is dangerous to have people like that in charge of law enforcement, especially because if he doesn't think that a plot to kidnap and kill our governor is a bad thing, why the heck is he a sheriff in the first place? And June was just a hotbed of political stuff. We had the mayoral election where Eric Adams won. And I know a lot of people were torn on his win because some people thought he was way too conservative for a Dem. And it's like, you know what? I'm a former New Yorker. People need to get over the whole idea that New York is just this liberal city. I'm from Staten Island. Probably the worst fucking borough of the 5 boroughs. And I'm not saying that for laughs. It truly is. There are a lot of racist people in New York. Some of the worst acts of racism I had to deal with was from my own hometown. And a lot of times it comes from the people that even look like you. So please miss me with the whole, oh, Eric Adams is a bit too conservative. The last fucking guy, which I'm going to start using for I have a black son, former mayor who abused his powers, including using the police as his personal valets. Mr. I'm going to run for governor after I had a really unsuccessful fart noise bid for president. Dude was just a waste, and I'm glad he's no longer mayor. And I feel like Adams, while I probably wouldn't have fully backed him, is better than what they had before. We have to be smarter though, y'all. Instead of worrying about Eric Adams, we need to make sure that every conservative that holds a House seat in key states feels the fire. We need to make sure that every Democrat that holds a key state seat knows that their job is not secure either. They need to be on notice. If you're not willing to do the work, if we know you more for a BuzzFeed article than your actual legislation, you don't need your seat. That is my message for 2021. Because way too many of y'all stand stunters, and the year of the stunt needs to end in 2021. I'm sick of hearing about Katie Porter. I know there are some Katie Porter fans out there that watch me. Y'all need to get over it. I hear more about her whiteboard and her videos than I know any legislation she has dropped. I know more about her antics with her colleagues as well. Causing trouble with Auntie Maxine, who's actually done legislation, who has been on the front line for years. And when you come for black women who do the work, but your ass is only known for BuzzFeed videos, yeah, I don't have no respect for Miss Porter. She needs to earn that respect. Oh, I know. I can't. I can't with that. She wore those earrings thinking that she's the same as Cori Bush. As much as I can't stand the squad, I can say they're young and they got the grifting game going. Exactly. Exactly, respect. Staten Island is ugh. But those earrings being the reason why price dropped, just it floored me. This is why we have to vet. This is why we have to get politicians who want to do the work. They're not going to be your best friends. They're not always going to be the people that you think should be in politics. We need the boring pencil pushers that can actually draft legislation. I am tired of the look at me types, the always on camera types, the I got to get into a fight with my constituents to say that they're jealous of me types. Or like we have here in Michigan, little Miss Anti-Semitic Talib, who seems to think that if you say that the shit she's saying, which is very anti-Semitic, is you're being anti-Muslim. It's like, no, that don't work like that. You cannot say hateful things, get called down on it, and then blame the person calling out your hateful things as being hateful. This is so, it's like a circular stranglehold of stupidity. I wish we could, Terry. I want more Lauren Underwoods. I want more Sharice Davises. I want more Lucy McBaths. I want more Sarah Lerners. I want more women leaders. This 2022 needs to be the year of the woman. We got Chantel Brown running in Ohio. She won the Democratic primary handedly over Nina Turner this year. That was another big 2021. Because so many people want to go vote like black women. Like I said last week. What black woman? You need to know who you're backing because not all skin folk are our kinfolk. And Nina Turner has been faking and stumping her way through politics for way too long. She's loud, she's annoying, and she wouldn't have done anything helpful in politics. And I am so glad that Ohio said no. No thank you to your struggle bus van. I mean, y'all, did you see that van? I think they took like a retired mail van, decked it up with hello somebody, which, who is her manager? I would love to know because if I ever did do a political jaunt, decide to get into politics, I would avoid them like the plague. Because hello somebody, who's your message for? Anybody? Hello, somebody? Is nobody listening to you? That's the vibe Nina Turner's run this year gave. Nobody's listening to you. You're loud. You have a weird sense of fashion. I don't know what that polka dot number was, but I can't forget it. It's like embedded in my brain. And I was so determined to make sure that Ohio remembered that she compared doing her due diligence, which was voting for the man who wasn't killing us in the hundreds of thousands, as eating a bowl of fecal matter. Nina Turner is a fraud. And I hope that with this latest loss, she starts to realize that the grifting game is done. It is donezo for her. And it needs to be done for the rest of the Justice Dems, or as I call the obstructionists, or as my friend Greg calls them, the Sinister Six. Because they are the reason why Build Back Better is still being stalled and can't get passed, because they vote against stuff because, oh, I can't get my student loan debt. They push that student loan debt. And like I said, I understand that nobody should break themselves paying for higher education. But if we can't help those who are who can't even think to afford school, why in the fuck should I worry about somebody who had the ability to even go to college? I'm sorry, I'm not going to sugarcoat this like some people. I'm not going to be diplomatic about this like some people. I'm not like other people. I'd rather say it real. There are people out there struggling tonight. I know I am fortunate. My family has a house. I have food in my fridge. I can take care of my son, but not everybody has that luxury. And I want that to change. And I want that to change before somebody who already had the luxury of even going to college gets a break on something. I'm tired of them using our real struggles and our real pain to get a leg up when they already have a leg up in society. If you have the ability to go to school, more power to you. I am happy for you. But since you can't seem to take that education to think about those of us who can't do that, who are literally struggling not to be the next hashtag, I have nothing for you, man. Because I'm tired of you putting your needs over our reality. And that's the thing that too many people don't want to say to the cosplay socialists, to the so-called far left. Too many of you want to still be nice to them. But they only vote at a 13% turnout. So I don't have to be nice to the kiddie table of politics, and I'm not gonna be. If they don't get it together and start turning out their votes, I don't want to listen to them, and nobody should. Nor should we be amplifying them, their podcasts, or whatever other stuff they want to put out there. Y'all don't vote, so your voice don't count. Until you change that, I don't have nothing to say to you. All I know is that too many politicians, including me, Ma, was pushing that, oh, Biden needs to put something in for student loan debt. And it's like, you're a senator. Draft something. It doesn't make sense. 2021 needs to be the end of these political frauds, these stunters for power. It is exhausting. And some of you need to stop standing them because you've got their heads all swollen up. And they think they're untouchable. But we need to show them that they are not untouchable. Holy crap. I skipped down. They were talking about August because I know I skipped a few months, but there's just so much COVID stuff that it's just, my brain is like, I can't talk COVID no more. Besides the fact that we need to be safe. But yeah, Elizabeth Warren is a mess. And too many Democrats are still, well, we would have been better off with our president. Really? Really? She is a sitting senator. Instead of tweeting about what Biden should do, your state could use a student loan package plan. She's supposedly a wonk. Get to wonking. I am so tired of people who are more known for their antics than their legislation in politics. That needs to change. I'm tired of hearing about Bobbert. I'm tired of hearing about Green, and they had a field day this year arguing back and forth with the squad because that's the new drama. Who needs soap operas when you can tune in on Twitter and see what reps are fighting each other? That shit needs to stop. This is embarrassing. You're grown people. But I will say the only incident that I did kind of personally enjoy this year, because I don't think Bobber understands how women in Michigan here get down, was the fact that Deb Dingle was going to drag her ass. She is lucky there were cameras rolling. I don't know how other people hang, but when you live that close to Detroit like Deb does, I feel like Bobber don't realize she's going to get her ass kicked. She need to stop stepping to certain reps. This ain't like AOC who will just have a tweet fest with you and tweet fight. Deb will throw down. There's a reason why we give our elected officials nicknames like Big Wretch. We don't elect people here in Michigan that don't know how to throw hands. And I love how Deb did the hand motion when she was telling her off in that clip. I was like, I wouldn't want to be that Maori Green chick right now because she gonna catch hands if she keeps it up. Some women don't play. That's the main reason why running for politics has been sidelined by me. And I keep telling the people who want me to run, I will punch a bitch. I have no problem throwing hands at anybody that gets on my nerves. And I know the moment Bobbert side-eyed me or Green side-eyed me, they get a fist. No doubt about it. So I would really shy away from trying to elect somebody like me. I don't have no filter. And the older I get, the less care I have about that stuff. And I would rather you elect an official that can keep it composed, do their legislative work. But if you want to show, I mean, for real, I will punch a bitch. And for real, those two really need a cold cock. I'm telling you, though, it has been a heartbreaking year, though, for women. And while I want to... sorry. While I want to elect more female leadership, because I feel like female leadership will guide this country in a way, our media has been very critical of our vice president, to the point where she literally just had, I just read an article, which was another hit piece in disguise, about how she said if she was a white man, the way the media would be portraying her would be a lot different. And then they used it as, oh, she's struggling. There's a high turnover. There ain't no high turnover. People are literally deciding to work in another place. They aren't being fired like the revolving door that was the Trump administration. These are grown people who know that our party still needs help in other places. And we are appointing people in a fast pace that are doing their job. But if you listen to our media, oh no, everything's on fire. Things are bad. Things are bad. Things are not bad. You realize that for the first few months in the last few years, I've been able to sleep at night. I've been able to really put my mental health first because we have people who actually care in charge. And I really feel like a lot of people just don't understand how important it is to have people who want to do the job and aren't constantly on Twitter acting the fool, who aren't being banned by social media for inciting an insurrection. I'm tired of the fact that that man will always be known as a U.S. president, but I take comfort in the fact that we learned, hopefully, what incompetence does to all of us. We cannot have them running our freaking government anymore. And Mitch McConnell, that gargoyle, he needs to stop acting like he has power still. The fact that he's reaching out to Manchin, talking about you need to come over to our side. Nobody wants to get... Your side injects Calderwormer instead of a vaccine. You look like you are modeling from whatever mold or fungus from your hands to your fucking pores. No one wants to be on your side. And I get it. I don't particularly like Manchin. Everything I hear about Manchin is bad. But Manchin is the best we are going to get in West Virginia. And if you don't want Manchin to have power, you need to focus on the key states that can take a lot of said power out of his hands. Make him ineffective by moving around him. But some of you don't want to think about that. No, it's too hard. I don't want to think about who represents me locally. But did you see what was on that 90-Day Fiance? Like I said last week, some of you can tell me stuff about reality shows that I didn't even know existed until this year, but can't tell me who's on your local board of electors. You can't tell me who's running your schools. You can't tell me shit about politics. So until you get yourself together, and there is just so much we have to get done. This year has been crazy. We had a gun violence incident in October where a woman who worked on the set lost her life. Helena Hutchins was killed by Alec Baldwin. This is why gun control is so important, y'all. I know it feels like there are going to be people who will arm up anyway. But you know what happens when we actually have laws stopping them? They get to go to jail and they lose those guns. Every other civilized nation has progressive gun laws, ways for that people who have to just own them can legally own them but be registered, just like we have to register before we can drive. In Japan, they have such stringent gun laws that gun violence is very rare over there. I don't understand how we can't have that here. I'm tired of the excuses. And if you are in the state right now, because I know some people are like, well, red states are hopeless. Red states are not hopeless. They're only hopeless when people use apathy. When red state Dems give up too early. When we get together and organize, we can get stuff done. And I believe in men like Jamie Harrison. I believe in women like Stacey Abrams. I've been believing in women like Lauren Underwood, Lucy McBath. There are so many Democrats who want to do the job. Our current administration, the Biden-Harris administration, are doing so much for the people. And they can do so much more with support. And that's our part. Because as much as I want to keep reading about the constant tragedies and violent things, I would much rather think about a future where we have more elected officials who want to just do their job and less like Cuomo, who had to leave in disgrace because he used his position of power to abuse it and abuse women. And then his brother decided, I'm going to cover up. I'm going to use my journalistic stuff to find out stuff, but then cover it up. And now he fucked around and found out. And it is a sad fall from grace because, like I said last cast, I was a huge fan of their father, Mario. He was the governor when I was a child till I think I was almost a teenager during his reign in New York. And he was a good governor from all I can remember. My grandmother, she was the main reason why I take politics seriously, loved the Cuomo family. She would be heartbroken by this nonsense because it was unnecessary. Both the Cuomo brothers have families. They're married men. Why are you using your position of power to be an abusive, sexist jerk? But that's why I said our party has to be better. We can't be the party of excusing people because they have a D by their name. Because they have a D by their name, I expect them to carry themselves better. I expect them to treat women not like objects, but as fellow viable human beings. And if you can't do that, then you don't need to be an elected official within our party. And I don't care how much weight your family name used to carry. We need to get away from that crap too. I'm so tired of somebody being known by their family name because if your family ain't shit, why should I care about your reputation of your elders? I'm not going to let that name carry itself anymore. The Cuomo name is for now going to be the people of harassment. And that's the shame of that. And in 2022, we need to work towards, Kathy Haku sounds like she's gonna do a good job. If she's seriously gonna run, elect her as a permanent governor. I was hoping that James was really going to run. And sadly, she felt like her job as the AG was more important. So I will support her because she's nailing Trump. I guarantee you that, especially the tax evasion stuff, she is going to nail his ass to the fire. And that'll set her on the path to probably be president one day. So it is what it is. As much as I would like to see her as the governor of New York, I would have loved to see Governor Tish James. I feel like she knows what she's doing. It's just like when MVP had to pull out of the presidential race. We can tell when it's a right time and a wrong time for something. We go by our vibes. And Tish was like, you know what? I know I can do the job, but I still have work to do as the AG, and I support her. But what I don't support is way too many of yous who act like black women, especially black women in roles like the AG or in roles like our MVP, are still your mammies. Some of you have that plantation mentality, and that is what I'm going to wrap the cast up on, because I really need some of you Dems to hear that. The whole vote like black women, save us black women. 94% of us consistently vote to save this democracy. We can't do it on our own. And I am so tired of cleaning up your messes. You done had my ancestors cleaning up y'all's messes. I am tired. I'm not going to let my son clean up y'all's messes. You need to open your eyes. Stop coddling the relatives who refuse to do the right thing. Stop saying that you're blue no matter who, because it matters who. Start vetting, voting, and organizing. I want to see less protest pictures next year and more I voted stickers next year. I want all those doom criers who tend to pander to you because you look for an out for your apathy to be like, I don't know what happened. I thought the Dems were going to lose. I talked about it on Twitter. I wrote countless articles. I want them to be wrong. So I need those of you whose ancestors caused a lot of fuck up and expected my ancestors to clean it up to stop expecting me to carry water for you, because I'm tired. I'm done doing this nonsense. Y'all have to vote. The poll numbers don't lie. Y'all are still barely pulling the 40% for us. And I know there are enough of you to get that up. But some of you, oh, I don't like that. They can't motivate me off my couch. Then they go, well, why is this law being passed? It's restricting my rights. I know, I'll knit a pink hat and protest. That'll do something. Maybe my rep will wear earrings with fetuses on it. I don't know. I'm just so sick of the stunting. I need action, y'all. 2022 has to be the year of work to do. No more playing around. No more, oh, I'll get to it eventually. No more, oh, black women will handle it. Black women are tired. I'm speaking. And I don't like doing the monolith stuff, but I'm saying it. We're tired. You can't put this on our shoulders. We have a full frontal assault against our MVP. We have the media trying to take her out. We have the conservatives who are freaking afraid of her trying to take her down. They are doing a hatchet job on her character constantly. It is like watching what happened to Hillary Clinton over and over again. I sat through 30 years of Clinton bashing. It has been ongoing for the majority of my life. And now I'm watching that happen to Vice President Harris. And I am telling you right now, I'm going to see that woman sworn in as president. I am not playing. We are not going to mess this up. So black women especially, we want to organize around our media. And we can't do that if we're cleaning up messes that the 40% of yous won't get on that one relative that isn't a conservative, but just doesn't feel like this thing is socialist enough for them to care to vote. If some of yous had just pushed your relatives to turn out, we'd have less AOCs who are more known for their Instagram profiles and more people who want to do the work. And if you're tired of feeling like stuff isn't getting done fast enough or you're not getting enough of a show, run for something yourself. Because obviously you know how the federal government works. Obviously you can make it better. Instead of being an armchair politician, run for something. And if you are somebody I know and you want to run for something, let me know. I'll give you a shout out. Heck, you might catch me on a good day and I might be able to pop you a donation too. But what we need to stop doing is allowing the amplification of doomsayers. We need to stop with anybody who wants to depress the midterm turnout. We need to organize around the noise, especially because there's going to be a lot of noise. It's been noisy already. People speculating about the midterms already because they have had years of people who have speculated, caused apathy, and let people stay home. Don't stay home. This administration needs you. People like me need you. We need the Build Back Better plan. We need all the plans that are on the horizon that recognize that America isn't just one demographic and that we all need a government that looks after us. So if that is the goal you want to see in 2022, don't sit home. Don't be a Molly Paloy, I think her name is, or Parker, I don't know. Another one of them journalists who literally said she needed to be motivated off her couch, who got into a fight on Twitter with Eric Swalwell because she seems to think that this is the way to keep her name relevant. We need to stop amplifying these fraud journalists, these trust fund journalists especially. I was seeing way too much of live action Millhouse Walker Bregman too. Y'all need to stop. I don't want to see screen caps of his stuff. I blocked him for a reason. So stop getting around my block by screen capping his stupidity. Don't amplify him. You know how we get rid of these trust fund journalists? We stop making them relevant. No more interacting with them. No more amplifying their tweets. No more retweeting their idiocy to say they're idiots. The best way to hurt them, just like with the GOP, is to ignore them. They ran off the parlor and realized it's only us here. Nobody's paying attention to us. And they tried to run back to Twitter, but by then we were all ignoring her. Elle, especially her. Bree got on my nerves so badly, but she's had a bad year, y'all. Ain't nobody paying no attention to her. She's crying broke when her podcasts make like what? A couple of $100,000 a year. She's a fraud. And we have to stop amplifying these frauds and focus. Like I said, we have so much work to do in 22 and beyond. We have a historical administration. So many historic appointments and still ongoing. We had Christmas at the White House and I felt touched. There were kids in our White House again, sitting in front of the tree with the First Lady. The White House looked warm and fuzzy and cozy again. It felt like things were finally getting back to a point where I could breathe. And I want to keep that up. And we have so much work to do because even though I can feel like we're getting slowly better on a federal level, we still have individual state level issues. Exactly, respect. The voting bill, the George Floyd policing bill, gun control. We have a vice president who has an economics major. I know they can create a program that not only helps families, even more so than the child tax credit, which raised 50% of Black households out of rampant, desperate poverty. We have so much on the horizon that we could look forward to with a vice president and a president who sees us as human beings. And yeah, like I said to everybody else, he wasn't my first pick. And I would have loved if America could get away from its fixation on leaders only being old white men. But until we get to that point, I would rather have one that actually cares about America than an orange-faced jack turd who literally told his constituents to inject bleach. We have to support our president. And we definitely have to support our vice president. Because I feel like under their leadership, so much better could happen for this country. But they can't do it alone because some of you need to understand. Even though we are called the United States, we are still 50 individual states, each with elected reps who can go against the grain and make things bad for their constituents and therefore make it bad for us on a national level. And that abortion bill that Texas fucking passed this year was just a shot at Roe versus Wade. And with the Supreme Court stacked, as per the Sith Lord McConnell and his orange goon doofus, we are at a very real chance for abortion becoming illegal again. And I know some right to life types are like, well, it should be. Mind your business. That has always been my stance. I have had Christian friends, I have had Muslim friends, I have had Catholic friends who are very anti-abortion. And what I said to them is, who's forcing you to get one? If it is not your body, mind your business. I am of the mindset of I have been lucky. Even though I survived sexual assault, I never had to have that happen. But if I had got pregnant from what happened to me, especially at 14, I wouldn't have carried that child. And I know some women who have. One of my friends that I respect revealed just this year that she carried and raised the son of somebody who attacked her. And I have so much respect for her because honest, couldn't be me. I wouldn't have been able to have handled that. It is a different way of life. I might hate my ex, Kiddo's biological dad, but I don't hate Kiddo. When we created him, it wasn't through hate. What happened to me when I was younger was an act of hate. I would never have been able to look at a child and not see that. And I don't think it's fair that I have to explain it like that. But people think abortion is such a black and white issue. It's not. There are so many shades to it. And my stance has always been, it is not my business what somebody does as a medical procedure. It is not my business to judge their lifestyle. It is not my business to judge what they feel they can handle. Being a parent is not easy. I love my son more than life itself, but it is the hardest job I have ever taken on. And I think some people take it willy-nilly what carrying a baby does to your body. Mother mortality is a big fear and concern. And we finally have an administration that cares about that. But some of you would rather try to push us back towards coordinated chaos. And there is no such thing as coordinated chaos. It's just chaos that you can build a profit off of because you can report on said chaos. I'm telling you, y'all, I want better. And I know we can get it. And it shouldn't have taken a pandemic that has taken over 600,000 lives to open our eyes. But if coronavirus was what we needed to get our shit together, then I can't even say that. I'm just happy that a lot of us have survived it. And those of us who are smart enough, who got masked up early, who got our boosters early, who are doing our part to stay safe, are going to keep on. And we're going to get out there and we're going to vote. We're going to mail in our ballots if we can't get to the polls. We're going to do everything we can to keep this democracy together. And I'm hoping that we're not alone in this. It has to be all of us. Exactly. N95, Shemana. And thank you for being in the chat. I want to thank everybody tonight. Some of you have been in here since the first cast. So many of you are in here constantly. I appreciate it, y'all. I didn't know when I started this whether or not it would be worth doing it. You know, I've podcasted before. I was on Snatching Edges for a while. And while I love Tony and the ladies, it was a bit harder to be on a cast run by somebody else, wanting to bring up certain issues and topics. And I don't want to step on anybody's toes or overtake anybody's cast. And I sure as heck don't want to run somebody else's cast. So I decided to do this myself. And I am glad that I have it like this. Now, while I would love in the future to be able to do interviews and stuff, I realize after being on Snatching Edges, that's a bit hard. I do not have the patience for people like Tony does. She has every type. She had a conservative on there. One of the last shows I did with them, that conservative guy who I read the riot act about economics because he was a dodo. And I guess he thought black women wouldn't know about economics when I worked in finance. And I just couldn't, I don't want to be on a show where I'm arguing with people constantly. It's not good for my mental health. So while I love the ladies of Snatching Edges, I love their podcast, I love Tony, I love all of them, I just needed someplace where I could bring the facts, talk to yous, have yous talk to me. And like I said, maybe in the future, I will heavily screen them, but I will have people on that can bring facts because that's all I want. I don't need entertainment. I don't need drama. We can watch TV and movies for that. This show needs to be about talking facts. It needs to be about getting stuff to you guys and out there to the world that will help all of us. And I am so grateful to all of you who give me the chance to do that. And I will be back next week for the New Year's Eve Bonnet Chronicles. I know some people will be like, Tim, maybe you should take a break. Nah, I don't mind. It's only an hour, and I can't believe the hour went by this fast. I baked cakes. I'm ready for tomorrow's Christmas. I really hope that you all have a great holiday no matter what you celebrate. And like I said earlier, even if you don't celebrate and it's just a regular day tomorrow, I hope you have a peaceful day of relaxation. Axiom and I are going to get ready to wrap it up and relax for the night. I'm going to make us some dinner. Kiddo already ate because he doesn't wait for us. I love you all. Have a happy holidays, and I will definitely see you next week. Oh yeah, we'll probably watch Die Hard tonight, huh?
Die Hard!
He's the best. He loves it as a Christmas movie, y'all. But we're gonna wrap it up, and I will definitely see you next week. Are you gonna play the song? He's gonna play the song. Take care of yourselves. Get rest if you're not feeling good. Love you. See you next week.